Today on the AWC podcast, we're talking about self-limiting beliefs by Brian Sauls, and this comes right out of the March issue of the American Window Cleaner magazine. Thanks for spending some time with me today. As you know, the AWC podcast highlights a different article straight from the American Window Cleaner magazine. And if you aren't getting your magazine, I don't know why you're not. Go to awcmag.com/sub. Get your magazine. Listen to the rest of this podcast while you're signing up. Not only does it come with loads more articles, reviews, pictures, but it also comes with the famous sticker sheet, which if you want to buy stickers just by itself, go to the website under shop and you can see all of the previous sticker packs. Get them and then just put them everywhere. But either way, get your subscription because it's awesome and you're awesome, and that's how we do things. But we are talking about self-limiting beliefs today from Brian Sauls. Now, this is out of the March issue, which happens to be the Sorbo Godfather issue. If you haven't checked it out, it's pretty awesome. Sorbo's article starts in this, and it goes for 3 straight months telling his story, and the guy is ridiculously awesome. But we're talking about an article by Brian Sauls. Now, if you don't know Brian Sauls, he is an amazing dude, an amazing writer. I love his style of writing. He writes always about kind of the mental side of things. Every one of us, not every one of us, most of us, we'll say most of us online are always just saying our highlight reel. Hey, look at me. This is awesome. This great thing happened to me. Can you believe this awesome thing happened? Nobody ever talks about the negative. A lot of the times, especially if you're new, you're listening to this, a lot of the times, the problem is that you have only positives to go off. You go, man, I don't know how these guys are doing it. Everything is so absolutely amazing. But for me, it's taking all this time. I've had these bumps along the way. I've had not so great days. I made my wife cry because I had so much issues with it, whatever it is. Nobody talks about that, but Brian does. So I love his stuff. One of the things he's talking about today is actually the belief, your self-limiting beliefs. He says, in an attempt to build a profitable, life-changing business, we often get stuck. He doesn't say, oh man, that one time I got stuck. He doesn't say, sometimes people make it. He just says we often get stuck. If you've been in business for a long time, you've had this. If you're not been in business for a long time, you may not have gotten to this quite yet, but you will be stuck. You will have a bad time or experience or day or week or month or year. You may go through COVID, but a lot of the times we get stuck. He said, I spent a lot of time over the past 10 years running a service business trying to figure out where we were falling short. Who was holding up the show? If I could just figure out where the bottlenecks were, I could start making some progress. I eventually stumbled onto the answer, and sadly, I found out that it was, you guessed it, me. That's powerful. Because a lot of the times we don't ever find out that it's us that's making us suck. You know, we have issues in business. We aren't growing as fast as we are. We aren't focused on where we should be focused. We're not doing or progressing, or we're not even to the point we thought we'd be at, and we just don't know why. It's our customers. Man, you know, if I just lived in a different city. You know what? It's our logo. I'm not a fan of our logo. That's what, you know, if I had a tagline, if I just could get a dedicated salesman, that would be what, but it's not what it is. He says he sadly found out who it was, and it was him. He said, basically, he was the bottleneck of his company. If you've been trying to scale your business for a while, you may also have that sinking feeling that you're the reason your business is not farther along than it should be. In the nicest way possible, you're probably right. I mean, you're the reason you succeed or fail. And you're listening to this, meaning you're going to succeed. You're already taking the step to be better than you are or were. But there's a lot of companies out there every single day that fail. There's a lot of companies out there that no matter what happens with the rest of the economy, they are no longer in business. And the only reason is you. And the only reason is them. If you own your business, the reason you are succeeding is you. If you own a business and you're not where you want to be, it's also you. You can't have it both ways. And that's the big kind of problem, is a lot of people have to see that. He said, what could go wrong? I imagined everyone knew owning a service business was terrible. We all knew what we signed up for, and we just kept trudging along until we dropped dead from our stress or fell deep enough into depression to quit. That's why business owners are, business is so hard. That's why it's always supposed to be like this. But the truth of the matter, it's not supposed to always be like that. There's a lot of things that can kind of come out of that. He basically said that for lack of better options at that point in his life, he accepted those terms. He figured at least he didn't have a boss. He was never a big fan of those. I said I was going to be successful, but I didn't actually believe that. I was just hoping that I could limp along until I found something better. It's nuts. Who opens up and says this kind of stuff? I love it. I mean, we've all been there, so why not talk about it, right? I felt like I would never get close to seven-figure business because I wasn't smart enough, dedicated enough, good enough. I mean, who hasn't thought that? I remember personally on my first time going to a convention, I'd been in business for a few years, and I thought, man, oh man, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I can't believe it. It's awesome. Can you believe that? Man, I worked all this, and last year, me and one helper, we did like $80,000. I was talking to a guy. He said, man, that's awesome. He said, that's really, really good. Is that first year business? I said, no. It was my third year in business. I mean, that was the whole year last year? I was like, yeah. I mean, I thought I was doing amazing. He, okay. I get it. Yeah, he goes, my first year, I did about $80,000. I didn't have a helper. And I said, but my second year, he said, I was doing about $190,000, and this year we're on track to make about $400,000. I said, wow, that's awesome. He goes, yeah, you know. He gets to thinking, you go, man, I have not been doing what I thought I was doing. I thought that I was a success to some degree, and I wasn't. And it all comes down to me. I was almost happy with where I was because I didn't know any better. Brian goes on, he says, I realized a new friend of mine was very, very successful. He had a similar story from growing up without much money, screwing around way longer in her 20s than we should have, wasting, time. It's all of that put together. He basically did the same thing I did and realized that there was something else there. He said, I didn't need to ask permission or have a wealthy family or have an MBA. None of those things. I had convinced myself that I needed. I saw someone else like me doing it. The big thing is that when you first realize that it's not your customers, it's not your marketing. Well, maybe it's a little bit of everything, right? It's not all of that stuff. What's holding me back? Oh, man, these guys, they just get handed. Oh, this guy's business is handed to him. He probably doesn't even have to do any work. He gets business. These guys are so busy. You find out that somebody in the same situation as you ends up being better off than you. The only thing that's different is you. It's really kind of a sobering thing, especially in business, because there is no boss, right? There's nobody that we turn to and go, well, man, business is down. Am I right? I better start looking for another job. There's none of that. All there is you succeed or you fail. Those are your option. You succeed or you fail. It's like how it took forever for the first person to run a 4-minute mile, but then as soon as one guy did, a lot of people started doing it. If you don't know that, Brian goes on to say that's exactly what it was same thing in marathons. As soon as the big record that has been held for 50 years was broken, everybody could break it. It's like seeing something is possible and going, well, it's possible. I could do that. You're not limiting yourself by thinking it's not something. I know guys that are making $1 million a year in business. I know guys who are almost clearing themselves. They're paying themselves $500,000 a year. That is an amazing amount of money. Now, I'm not saying you have to be big. That is definitely not the point of that. But when you hear that and say somebody out there is not only still earning business, they're still paying their company, but they've paid themselves, it's actually their family, $500,000 a year, and their business is still profitable. That opens up a whole nother door. Whoa, this is possible? Man, I'm happy I made $50,000 a year, right? I can shoot way bigger. All of a sudden, you're making $150,000 a year. You're increasing those numbers because your brain tells you it's possible. All the things you thought made it impossible, like he says, having a wealthy family and having an MBA and all that stuff, it's not needed. Once you realize that, you realize that you can then achieve that. Now, I know, like, get off your horse, right? This is hoorah speech. It's not what it all is. He says, all it took was people knowing that it could be done. You just have to know your business could be something bigger than it is now. If you wanted it to. If you wanted it to, it could be bigger. Knowing that it was possible was all I needed. It was like a switch had been flipped from the moment of the realization. Once you know what you're capable of doing, great things, you stop thinking in terms of I can't do that or I don't know how. You start finding solutions to the issues. If you have excuses, that's one thing. If you have actual reasons to fix them, that is absolutely another. He goes on and says, need business help? Hire a coach. Financial advice? Get a guy for that. Whatever it is, there's someone out there who can help you. And that's a big thing. Asking for help, delegating. The owner of Coca-Cola, the CEO, I should say, of Coca-Cola, he is not making Coca-Cola. He's not making the bottles or putting labels on or even doing the marketing. He's overseeing all of that. That's called delegation. Getting people around you that can help you achieve where you want to be is huge. But it is you that's holding you back. Right now, think about this. Think about this. Is this something that you are happy exactly where you're at? Or is it something that you want to be bigger, better? You want to have more money. You want to have more time. You want to have a bigger company, more employees, whatever it is. You do that. Realize you have greatness inside of you. Be willing to put in the work, and there is no end to the success you find. Powerful words from my man, Brian. Now, if you haven't checked it out, again, this is from the March issue of the American Window Cleaner magazine. Go out and get it. I'm telling you, it is awesome to have a magazine in your hands. This is from the Godfather issue. That is Sorbo on the cover. The big, beautiful, bald man he is. It is an awesome issue. The articles are amazing. The stickers are bad to the bone. And support the industry that you love. Learn a thing or two and just get something to read while you're on the toilet. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? If you haven't gotten your subscription yet, go to awcmag.com/sub and get yours now. And I do definitely appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you later.